Alright, so today I'm going to be talking about some of the near future stuff that I'm planning on doing to the Bimmer here in the next couple weeks, as well as some more stuff I figured out about the Supercharger and different things I think I'm going to do for fitment. So stay tuned. Alright, so looking at these two pieces here, we're looking at this power steering pump. This is off Dylan's car. It's a 325i convertible, and it's an early model. And you can see that the power steering pulley is kind of bumped back. It's got a good maybe ½ inch there of like back spacing. So comparing that to the M42 in my car, the power steering pulley is totally just in line there. And I need it to be bumped back to get onto the AC on the crank. So that'll be a really easy way, hopefully, if it lines up, of bumping that back to the spot I need it instead of crazy spacers and stuff. So that's awesome. Like, this project is on a tight budget and that's free, so it's a win in my book if it'll work out. If it bumps it too far back, you can use some spacers in between the pulley and the yoke or whatever it is on the pump to bump it back forward a little bit, and then that way it'd be easy. Just add some washers, to get the fitment there. Alright, so what I'm doing right now is loosening the tension on this power steering belt here. I'm shining the light right on a little bracket. There's two nuts on it. The one connects it to the power steering pump, and the other is the tensioner. So you loosen the first nut, which is the 13 mil, and then the other one I think is like a 19, and you just rotate it lefty-loosey, and it pulls. It has a little bit of tension. It pulls the whole bracket and power steering pump over, and then you'll be able to slip the belt off. And then I'm gonna undo this pulley here as well, and just line up the other one and see if it fits. And if it doesn't, then we'll be putting it back, I guess, but you never know until you try. Alright, so I got that pulley on there, and it looks like it lines up pretty close with that. I'll put a piece of string probably around the one it has to go onto, and then see, but I can put a few washers underneath here and see if it bumps it out a little bit, but it's close. It's close enough where it'll work, I think, so that's really awesome. Alright, so I actually just fully installed this belt, and as you can see on the crank, it looks like it sinks down into there a little bit. I don't know if there's like a different width V-belt for the AC, but it's fitting really good, so. Well, alright, I got the power steering converted over to that crank. It was a little bit off with just the 325i pulley, so I added 3/4 inch washers to the back side of each bolt there, and that seemed to bump it out the perfect amount. I've been taking some measurements and it doesn't look to be off. If it is off when I run it, I'll add another washer or take one out, or you get the picture, but it's really close now. So as far as my plans now, because I have to fabricate an intake, I'm going to put it back to stock because that'll take a couple weeks to build. And in putting it back to stock, I can see if that power steering belt is going to work out and figure a few things out along the way. Alright, I got the Supercharger resting on its side here so you can see the intake there. It's a 2.5 inch hole, and I need the pipe that I'm going to make to hug this side. This is kind of on the bottom side So it's going to come from here and do a quick bend and just hug right here. So I'm going to need to, sorry with the shake there, I'm going to need to make a plate that matches perfectly up with this, and then I'm thinking maybe like a 2.75 inch hole on the plate, so I can run 2.75 or maybe 3-inch piping for that. And then I'm going to need to make another plate somewhere over here that'll mount the stock throttle body up to. So there'll be 2 welds, one to the throttle body and one to the plate that will be made. So that's going to take a little while to design, and then I'm going to 3D print those plates to make sure that they fit, because it'll be just a short way to make sure that the CAD files are right, and then have that machined so that I can weld to that. That's going to take a little while, so it makes sense to put the car back to stock, since it's really just the intake manifold and a few other things just to button up. It won't take more than half of an evening just to toss it back together and then let it rip for 2 weeks. Alright, so I'm just tossing it back on one last time to kind of check things out, because I'm going to be putting it back to stock tomorrow, because I'll be building this intake piping here going from that inlet port to the throttle body, which will be right by the stock there of the supercharger. So I was looking at this vac line on the brake booster, and it looks like it'd be neat if it plugged right in to the piping here, which isn't there yet. It'll be a neat little just bend and no one will see it. So that's an idea. And then as far as there's the PCV valve deal where it comes out of the valve cover. I'll be running a catch can, and then that'll run into this throttle body right here. That's where I went stock. It's got like a restrictor in it and stuff. So that'll run into there, and I don't need to add a fitting for that in the piping. What I do need to add a fitting for is the ICV, the idle control valve. That diverts air around the throttle body pretty much for cold starts and whatnot. So I'll be needing to add probably 2 fittings for that, and then just essentially keep it as tight as possible to the supercharger, probably down on this like flat part here, and then the throttle body will have to be upright. I don't want it to be at an angle, it'd be weird. So to come up and meet the throttle body up here probably, and then I can just figure out like the pod and all that, and the AFM. That won't be too hard. But so yeah, so that's my next project, is building that, probably all out of aluminum. So the next video will be putting it back to stock with the stock intake manifold and all that stuff. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you give it a subscribe and a like and all that jazz, and catch you on the next one.